Are you concerned with the recession? Are you struggling with your bookings? If that's you, then this video is for you. Welcome, my beautiful people. Fernando David here. And today I want to give you a strategy or a playbook you should be doing to prepare for another period of uncertainty. We just went through the pandemic. That pandemic was a catalyst, in my opinion, because a lot of governments were printing money. A lot of things were going on that have affected and we're seeing the effects of what we were doing during the pandemic in terms of the current economic situation. So as a short-term rental operator, you need to be prepared for what's coming. Most of you are already feeling the effects. That's why your bookings are down. And it's not just because Airbnb changed the algorithm. Bookings are down because inflation's up. Travel is super expensive now. There's a lot of factors. I've already named a lot of those factors in prior videos, but I want to give you a playbook and some of the things that you can be doing to help you get through these next 3, 4, 5, or even 12 months. We don't know how long this recession is going to take, but I want to give you some steps and strategy that I believe can help you get through these uncertain times. And before I get some of you economic masters or doctors telling me that we're not in an economic recession, please, we are, okay? I don't care what the media says. I don't know what spin you want to put on there, but we're definitely in a recession. Most Americans and most people worldwide are feeling the effects of this recession, and we're not going to get over it anytime soon. But we can take steps to make sure that we come out of this okay. As a short-term rental operator, the first thing you need to understand is that you're operating a business. And as a business, there's certain steps that you need to take to ensure you stay in business, right? The first thing I want you to focus on, especially now, and I know most of you do a pretty good job, but it's more important than ever that you focus on the guest experience. You need to make sure that you're providing a guest experience that's going to be memorable, and that's going to help you get better reviews, which in turn, in the long run, will help you get more business, right? One of the best things, one of the tools that I look for or that I recommend that you do is really focus on your booking process and focus, once you get that booking, on how to connect with that guest. I'm a big fan of digital guidebooks. We have a very robust digital guidebook that allows a guest to see everything they need on their phone. So when a guest books a property with us, they're going to get a link to our digital guidebook. Once they click on that link and they create that profile, they're going to be able to see everything related to the property. But more importantly, they're going to see additional stuff that most digital guidebooks don't provide. And that is, for example, recommendation for restaurants. They can do an early check-in, late check-out. If they need to purchase, for example, car rentals, bikes, whatever they need, they're going to be able to do it on the palm of their hand. That's going to provide them a very enjoyable and stress-free booking. So that's one area in which most people can get better at and will help you provide that guest experience that I highly recommend. The next thing that you need to focus on in your particular market is ensuring that you are diverse in your OTA distribution. I said this a lot, and I'm going to continue to beat this drum. Do not rely on just one platform.
No, God, please, no, no!
If you rely on just one platform, like Airbnb, then you're going to be beholden to that platform. In fact, I tell people all the time when they say, I'm in business, and when I ask them, how many platforms are you advertising on? They only say Airbnb. My response is, you're not in business. You freaking work for Airbnb. You are an employee of Airbnb. So be an entrepreneur. Don't be relying on just one platform and focus on different OTAs. Along those same lines, I highly recommend that you also focus I'm thinking outside the box and not just be relying on OTAs. One example of that is putting your property on the MLS. Another example is doing corporate leasing. Another example is doing platforms that are not traditional short-term rentals, but are traditionally a mid-stay rental like Furnish Finder. Really think outside of the box. Figure out where can you put your property on so that you can get your properties filled with tenants. Okay, that's very important. Another recommendation that I have is for you to be flexible, right? I mentioned some of the amenities, flexibilities with amenities, like for example, allowing pets to be on your property. But another one that a lot of you guys are not taking advantage of, and that's being flexible with your cancellation policy. In October, Airbnb came out with a stat, and I'm gonna read it to you. And according to Airbnb, those properties that had a flexible cancellation policy outperform those that didn't by 21%. That's a big number. Within that, you can also, on Airbnb alone, that doesn't apply to other platforms, but on Airbnb, you can also choose to have a non-refundable booking where you give a 10% discount, and if they accept that, then that booking's non-refundable. But at least you gave the potential guest an option. Very important that you do that. The next thing that I highly recommend you do, and this relates to your business, is making sure you do a couple of things as a business operator, right? Number one is streamline your processes. The more streamlined you are, the more time you're gonna save. You're gonna also save operating costs. And along those same lines, do everything you can now to reduce your operating costs and save money. You heard the phrase cash is king. Cash is going to be king in the near future because there's going to be opportunities for those of you that have the cash or the ability to take advantage of these opportunities by having cash. I won't go into that in this video, but understand that in the near future, there's going to be companies and or properties and or vacation rentals that are going to be available to you, and then you're going to be able to buy pennies on the dollar, but you need to have the cash to do so. Finally, let me just go over what I refer to as some winning formulas, right? And I briefly touch on these, but I'm going to summarize them really quick. And then I'm going to finish with a bag, so stay tuned to the end because I'm going to give you a final tip that's really going to help you stand out from everyone else.
Woo! Yeah, baby!
Those that are going to win in the next 3, 4, 5, 12 months are people that are going to do the following. Number one, they're going to support longer stays. I just mentioned that. Longer stays, either through corporate leasing, through Furnish Finder. Another key one, if your property is next to a hospital, and a hospital that likes, or a hospital that is constantly getting travel nurses, go to that hospital, speak to their administrator, and offer your property up for rentals to their nurses. It's a big market, and especially in South Florida, it's a good revenue source.
I like money.
Next, keep an eye on the market. Understand the data. Understand how to analyze the data so that you can make an educated guess on where the trends are going so that you can pivot. That's a very important component here. One of the biggest lessons that I learned when I was in the Marine Corps was I learned how to adapt and overcome for any crisis that presents itself. It's a crisis. We're in a crisis right now. If you're in the short-term rental game or in business in general, you need to be able to adapt and overcome to this current crisis. So understand that. Another big one, those that are going to win in this game really understand this, is they understand that you need to develop a pricing strategy. Again, I've been preaching this, I've been beating this drum for a while. If you don't currently have a pricing software, you need to get it, okay? It's really going to make a big difference whether you succeed or not if you have a dynamic pricing strategy in place for your property. Next is, this is going to be the big one, and that is your marketing. Long gone are the days in which you can just post your property on Airbnb and you're going to succeed. Those days are gone. You need to understand marketing. And if you don't understand marketing, you need to hire a company like us that understands how to market a property, especially in today's market. Marketing is key. Direct bookings are going to be key in the future, and you need to establish, if you haven't done this already, you're behind the 8 ball, but you need to start establishing a database of your past guests that you can retarget, especially those guests that liked your property, that gave you a 5-star rating. Chances are they'll be more than likely willing to come back to you if you target them. Those are what I refer to as freebies. Cost nothing to target them, especially if you were able to capture their phone numbers and or email address, but you need to be very proactive with your marketing. That's what's going to separate you from everyone else. I hope this information was useful. If it was, subscribe, hit the like button, follow me on Instagram. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.